gathered here this evening to celebrate the good work done by these companies and to truly appreciate. Moving forward to now present his special address, I'd like to invite on stage Dr. Arun Kumar Verma, Joint Secretary and Minister of Power. Let's put our hands together. We are privileged to have you here with us, sir, this evening.
India has a very, very large contingent of skilled manpower. We are now recognized as the most IT-savvy group of people in this, on this planet. Our companies, our engineers, our investors, they have proved that they can match with anybody contemporary in the same profession in any country in this world. And therefore, this is not to be taken as something which is insulting, but it's to be taken as something where we have the, might, we have the capability and the skill to convert, our innovations in more effective way, which is workable for the society. I understand that innovation requires some kind of R&D work, because creative mind can be there, but unless you have resources and opportunity to convert those creativity into some doable things, the innovation cannot be there. Thanks a lot.
But now, to present to you our panel discussion on driving innovation in infrastructure.
I think the Joint Secretary kind of set the tone for this panel discussion. I don't think we need to add anything more to what the Joint Secretary very lucidly explained as to what innovation really means. And I'll start off with Mr. Saxena. What do you think are the requirements in terms of policy, in terms of financing, and in terms of technology that will help us generate more power and make it reach to the people?
The government has done phenomenal things in village electrification, and virtually maybe 1,000 villages are getting electrified every month. But yet there is a latent demand which is not being met because energy consumption is rising just 3%. In that kind of a situation, when one looks at it, one finds that unless you improve the health of the distribution companies, unless you improve tariffs, and unless you make it viable for these distribution companies to buy, this lag will remain. The convergence of media, of internet, of communications and processes has created a situation where technological innovation is taking place. But unless we are able to simultaneously improve the operational efficiency, and that's a big if, we will have reached a situation where we will need possibly another bailout of sorts at some point of time. And that is why technology, process and process innovation plays a great role in sustaining this and building upon the infrastructure.
Right. Thank you. I think that's quite insightful of how process and technology and innovation in policy helps. Mr. Sen, you would have seen processes in terms of procurement and how a structured innovation happens in other countries, and you have operated in China and Africa and so on and so forth. Where do you think we are going wrong, and what is it that you think we should be doing as a nation?
Yeah, I'll come to the first technical innovations. There are a lot of things being in practice in other countries. Like in Gulf, we are working extensively. We work in all the 5 countries in Oman, Qatar, Riyadh, and Saudi Arabia, and UAE obviously being our base. We find out a lot of things being implemented there, and when I try to bring in, we have an iron strict specification of the authorities, whether it's roads or railways. Like seeing railways, in the road we are having these approach ramps. We are using reinforced earth panels to make this. You go to railways, it's a big no-no. It took us to find out somewhere in the world, in Italy actually, they use reinforced earth panels to make the ramps. and so for the rails, and we went and showed it to them, but still we couldn't implement it. Around last 5 years, we have found out that nearly 70% projects have been completed only after 10 years' time, though the project period is 3 years. They took as much time as more than 10 years. About 15% were finished in less than 6 years' time, and hardly 10% is finished in the stipulated time. So basically, implementation has to be very, very strong. You can find out policies, but the authority has to implement it, where we face a huge hurdle.
And the very important points. In fact, Mr. Karia, your organization, Ravin, has also been involved in many power projects. What do you think are the key bottlenecks which is really stopping the growth of infrastructure, including power infrastructure?
That one of the areas of bottleneck, especially for the power sector, has been power theft, where you are losing almost rupees 1 lakh crores per year by way of power theft. Now put that money back into infrastructure and see what you get. At the same time, we need to understand that our technology is obsolete. We need to change a lot of technologies. We need to change a lot of capital equipment. Now we can bring in a PPP and say that yes, we bring in a PPP, but then there has to be a very strong sense of partnership between the government and the private sector, which at least currently there is a deficit of trust, because both people view each other suspiciously and they feel that the other is trying to rob the first one of either profits or the other person feels policy.
So, Mr. Rao, what are the innovations that we can bring into ports and blue economy infrastructure so that we can build up more of these at a faster rate?
Always for the port, it so happens, customer is always the king. If the customer today is looking for the total logistic solution, if we have to go in for a total logistic solution, I have to be competitive. And as you could see now, we Adani ourselves, we have got 10 ports. There are 12 major ports. There are another 5 private ports. And still people are thinking in Andhra Pradesh there are going to be another 3-4 ports. It is going to develop, further ports are going to come up. So then what will happen? All this material has to be moved. And then the port which gives the total logistic solution, customers will go there. Because customer, he cannot get a truck because the road facility is not good. Railway, every year there will be an increase or there will be some problem so that, it cannot also go for. So what will happen in that way? Finally, you have to depend upon the coastal movement only. Who can do the coastal movement well is the person who has the capability and experience. They can only do that coastal movement.
Thank you for sharing your views. And that brings me to you, Mr. Thakur. You lead one of the largest infrastructure firms in this country. And what we have been hearing as a refrain is that PPP is probably not appropriate for infrastructure rollout. And therefore, one of the innovations that the government brought out was the hybrid annuity model. What are your views on how appropriate is hybrid annuity model? And what are the other alternatives that the government should be considering?
Now, the hybrid model, which has been announced particularly in the road sector, is still an experimental stage. Government does not own the responsibility of arranging you the annuity portions from their portions. They are trying to, the masala bond had been launched, and then part of that is being thought of being invested into the hybrid annuity models. But then the government, the bankers do not feel that such hybrid models programs are bankable. So unless that happens, this kind of confidence is generated, the hybrid model is not going to get required momentum and good acceptance into these schemes.
Thank you so much. I think that was an absolutely brilliant set of eclectic ideas that came up in this panel discussion. I would like to thank the delegates and the panelists for sharing your ideas and bringing them forth on this panel. With that, we have completed a round of time, and therefore, thanks for being here. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us put our hands together as I welcome Shri Mansukh L. Mandavia, Honorable Minister for State, Road Transport, Highways and Shipping, and also Chemicals and Fertilizers.
नरेंद्र भाई मोदी के नेतृत्व वाली सरकार ने तय किया है। देश में रोड का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर खड़ा होना चाहिए। 2022 तक हमने तय किया है 7 साल में हमें 1 लाख किलोमीटर रोड का नेशनल हाईवे का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर खड़ा करना है। हम कहकर छूटने वाले लोग नहीं है, हम इतना ही कहते हैं जितना हम कर सके। और उनके संदर्भ में मेरी मिनिस्ट्री जो काम कर रही है, जो हमने पीपीपी मॉडल की ओर से, पीपीपी मॉडल जहां संभव न हो वहां ईपीसी से, लेकिन हमने काम करना शुरू कर दिया है। आज तक हमने 54,000 किलोमीटर का नेशनल हाईवे के लिए एक्चुअली वर्क स्टार्ट कर दिया है। सभी समुद्र तट में सभी पोर्ट को हमें सागरमाला योजना के अंतर्गत उसको नेशनल हाईवे से जोड़ देना है। देश में डेवलपमेंट के लिए, इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट के लिए पोर्ट लेड डेवलपमेंट बहुत आवश्यक है। देश का विकास का द्वार हमारा पोर्ट बन सकता है, हां बन सकता है, नरेंद्र भाई की दृष्टि से बन सकता है। और इसलिए देश के विकास को कैसे गति दे सके, उनके लिए हम काम कर रहे हैं। जो एक बार हिंदुस्तान परम वैभव के स्थान पर था, वैसा हम हिंदुस्तान देखना चाहते हैं। ना केवल हम अकेले कर पाएंगे, ना केवल आप अकेले कर पाएंगे, ना केवल द इकोनॉमिक्स टाइम्स अकेले कर पाएंगे, लेकिन हम सब लोग साथ में मिलके एक विकसित हिंदुस्तान निर्माण करें। उनके लिए मैं आप सबसे अपेक्षा करूंगा। आप सबको खूब खूब धन्यवाद।
Brought to you by ETH.
You are on top of the world with Times Network. And you're watching ET Now.
Invest Madhya Pradesh will showcase the strengths and industrial prowess of Madhya Pradesh. Multiple investment and growth opportunities across various sectors await you. With first of its kind single table system for clearing investment proposals. Madhya Pradesh is amongst the top 5 Indian states in ease of doing business. Consistent double-digit growth, stable government with visionary leadership, investment-friendly policies and unmatched location advantage make Madhya Pradesh a land of opportunity. Welcome to the Global Investor Summit 22nd and 23rd October 2016. To participate, register on www.investmp.com.
Hitachi Social Innovation Forum 2016, which was held on 9 September in Mumbai, brought together some of India's brightest minds to share their vision of transforming India's future through innovations in technology. The session on payment solutions discussed the increasing expectations of customers and how the gap between traditional banking and digital banking needs to be bridged to make the transition much smoother.
You will see a phenomenal increase in RTGS and NEFT. So there is a shift, and that shift you cannot ignore, that people are getting comfortable with a different way of doing business, with a different technology of business.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to present to you the Economic Times Best Infrastructure Brands Coffee Table Book. To you, the Economic Times Best Infrastructure Brands Coffee Table Book. let us put our hands together as I invite, and I'd like to mention this is in alphabetical sequence. So let us put our hands together for the entire team of Adani Port. Let us now welcome on stage Ashoka Bilchkon. Let's put our hands together for Bharti Infratel. Taking the Walk of Fame next is Energy Development Company. Ladies and gentlemen, let us put our hands together as we have the team joining us on stage. Well, they sure believe in innovation. We have with us a thought leaders, SL Infra Projects. Best Infra Brands 2016. Let's put our hands together for Gamesa India. Taking the Walk of Fame next is GPG Infra Projects. I'd also like to welcome our thought leaders, JGL Infrastructure next. We'd like to acknowledge the presence of a GVK. Let's put our hands together as I request them to please step forward. Taking the Walk of Fame next will be JSW Energy. Ladies and gentlemen, let us put our hands together. And the list goes on. Let's put our hands together for our thought leaders, L&T. For excellence in infra, we have with us MBL Infrastructure. To the country's infrastructure, MEP Infrastructure Developers. Let us put our hands together Joining is yet another thought leader. Let's put our hands together and welcome Overseas Infrastructure Alliance. Well, they truly want to change what India is all about. Let's put our hands together for Ravin Group. Next, joining us on stage is Reliance Infrastructure. Let us put our hands together as they create a change. Renewable power is creating a change. I'd like to invite Sterling and Wilson on stage, please, the team. Sunil High-Tech Engineers, our thought leaders, Sunil High-Tech Engineers joining us on stage next. Joining us next, TK Engineering Consortium. Let us put our hands together. For exceptional work as far as infrastructure is concerned, we have with us startup projects. The Braithwaite Byrne and Jason Construction Company. Let us put our hands together for the team joining us on stage. Ujjas Energy joining us on stage. Let us put our hands together. Best Infra Brands 2016, and joining us on stage are thought leaders, Vishwaraj Infrastructure.
The Infra Focus Summit is transitioning from where you started 4 years ago till to today, and today infra sector is very much in the limelight. It is in the focus because elections are won and lost based on the commitments of infrastructure development. And I think this is a great initiative, moving on very rapidly. A lot of new ideas coming in.
I really thankful for the Economics Times to provide a platform to boost the infrastructure's ideas on a platform. I really very much thankful and appreciate the organizers of this event that the task will be fruitful and this will give another boost to Make in India.
I think we are very glad and we really appreciate the recognition that has come with it. We would like to thank ET, of course all the other teams who may have been involved in deciding that detailed infrastructure is Best Brand 2016, it shows the dependability of GTL infrastructure. Not last year, this year. And I think this will push the entire team of GTL infrastructure to move forward, and we are poised to actually start capturing larger market share and being dependable, and for operators a partner to be.
See, connectivity is a difficult issue in our country, as we all are aware. See, when we have developed Mundra Port, the total railway infrastructure of 72 kilometers was constructed by us. And when we have taken over Dhamra Port, in Dhamra Port also 67 kilometers of railway line is constructed by us. Because we know railway line, without railway line a port cannot exist. And inside the roads, all the roads of Mundra Port are world-class roads.
Top of the world with Times Network. And you're watching ET Now.
Oh, Sonu, yaad rakhna, haath mo bam. Ye. Haath mo bam. Haath mo bam.
अरे क्या है ये हाथ मुंह बम?
बीमारी से बचने का तरीका।
कैसे?
हाथ खाने से पहले साबुन से धोएंगे, मुंह पिएंगे, प्यूरिफाइड पानी पिएंगे, बम साफ टॉयलेट में शौच करेंगे।
गुड हैबिट।
हाथ मुंह बम, बीमारी होगी कम।
हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर की पहल।
5 great nations collaborating at BRICS Trade Fair, offering grand business opportunities. BRICS Business Forum. Meet the inspirational leaders scripting the economic change. Be there. For more details, log on to www.bricsbusinesscouncil.in.
Now, buying a house is not just about the EMIs and the down payment. A home is where your children will have their first impressions in life. It will be your muse after a tired day, an inspiration for the family to get together. Bear no doubts. Open the door to your brand new dream home. Only on ET Now.
Leadership is not only a numbers game. We've built our leadership through trust.
We have many businesses which needs cleanup. This value unlocking itself is going to create additional 25,000 crore market cap.
Day after day, week after week, there's only one business channel that leads the pack. ET Now, India's #1 business news channel.
My job is to ensure that the regulatory regime or regulatory framework is robust, is followed, and if there are violations, those violations are appropriately taken care of.
ET Now, the power of trust.
100 stock calls a day.
Bellwether IT stock is setting new high against the market expectations.
One breaking story every hour.
Big story breaking.
A fundamental view every 30 minutes.
I'm bullish. I'm very bullish on defense manufacturing.
A technical view every 15 minutes.
No sign of weakness. 8,000.
Market internals every 5 minutes.
We have seen an overall 600 points.
Stock spotting every minute. Thinking markets every second. ET Now.
BNSN, India's most watched stock game show, is taking a special